You have about 10 minutes. I think we could blast through all of them and get a separate podcast done. Do you have about 10
Uh,
minutes?
I have exactly 11 minutes.
Hey, what's up? I'm Dan Fredenberg. I'm a commercial real estate guy. I'm from the internet. Front of a house. It's going to be torn down soon. I understand that there are power lines that are getting kind of close. What's up again? This is Dan Fredenberg, and that there is we're seeing more properties like this being built. Let's do some stuff. Talk to you later. Bye.
This here is for Chance Encounters. Dan does deals. I'm here with Jeffrey Holst, and I'm going to go through the entire investor profile idea here. So the first thing we're doing is we're talking about motivation. So we're talking about, why do you want part of an apartment complex? If you in the audience are wondering what the story is, you're going to want to know Jeff's motivations. So the first reason why somebody would want to have a part of an apartment complex is because they want to preserve their purchasing power. They don't want to get eroded by inflation. That's the first reason. Second one is like me, which is that I realize that as a high earner, I don't know why it's freaking out on me, as a high earner in tech, I could just take that money and then pay income tax on it and then invest it. Or if I'm actually working and co-GPing on buildings, then I'm trading my time for wealth, which is a much smarter idea, if I do say so myself. The next reason is because they're trying to fast track their retirement. And so that means they're working with something so they can take some LP positions before they GP or something like that, but they just want to have a hand in doing it themselves. The next one are the people who are just pure ambition. If they see somebody with an enormous yacht, they have to have a much bigger yacht. In other words, they want to buy their hometown. Some people might say that they've got a little but there's no limit to their ambition. They just got to go big or go home, that sort of thing. And the last motivation to own part of an apartment complex is they have an irrational need to help tenants. Now, maybe that, I'm not saying irrational is bad. It might just mean that they don't want to squeeze every last penny of profit out of it because they want to take care of a social group. So on that one, as far as motivations, where would you say you stand in general?
Can I say all of the above? How about that?
Yeah.
Honestly, so maybe not the Grant Cardone one where I want to buy my hometown, because that seems very Grant Cardone. I wouldn't mind having a jet in an island, but I don't actually need a jet in an island, right? I'm perfectly fine, where I'm at now. But I do like providing affordable housing to individuals who might not otherwise get high quality affordable housing. One of my favorite ways to make money is to buy a rundown apartment complex, fix it up. Yes, that means we get higher rents, we get more money, we get a better quality tenant. I understand all that, but it also provides relatively low cost anyway, high quality housing, and improves the lives of those families. I have about 250 rental dwelling units right now. That means there are 250 families that live in places that I'm providing for them. And I love that. I love that. So maybe the last one. But I started out because I wanted to supercharge my retirement. So that's part of it. I also like traveling. So, buy your hometown, that's part of it. So like I said, it's pretty much all of them. I forget what the first one was, but I'm sure that was also part of it.
Yeah, preserving purchasing power.
Oh, basically. Yeah. I'm terrified of inflation all the time. So yeah, that's another one that I think about constantly. Although right now, they're loaning us money at below the rate of inflation. So my new thing is I just want to borrow as much money as I can, because inflation is higher than interest. It doesn't make any sense, but I love it. So
right. So the next part that I have is, I noticed that there are 6 different parts of an apartment deal, and I put them on a cube so that you can remember the number that there are.
Nice.
So this is the way that I introduce myself these days. I say, I am a repositioner. That means I look at a whole bunch of different deals and I look for something that makes more sense in our portfolio, or at least I can find a higher and best use so we can squeeze more cash out of it than the current owners. One of the best ways to do that is to get a contractor, make it nicer, and that way you can charge more rent. But there's a problem. The problem is I'm from the internet, and if I'm from the internet, we need somebody to actually take care of the place. They need to unclog the toilets. They also need to keep track of the money that might be going down the toilets, right? So I'm from the internet, I find the property, I find the guys who end up fixing it up so it's a nicer place. I got the people who run it in general, and I do not let them do contracting work. And the other thing that you do to make sure that that's the case is you have to have a local. You have to have boots on the ground. You have to have somebody to go there and keep an eye on it, because I'm not flying there every time something goes wrong. So if you have all those pieces of the puzzle, including the property, you turn around to the financier, the bank, and say, hey, I got this property. Give me a whole whack of money so I can buy it. And they say, okay, so this is what you got. All right, but who's your sponsor? And then newbies say, who's your what now? And the sponsor, the person who has to have a similar asset, they have to own it, and they have to have a balance sheet of at least the amount of the loan. If you have all of these, then you have an apartment deal. And those are the 6 different roles. And where do you see yourself usually? Like, what are your core competencies on this model?
Yeah, so I'm definitely not the contractor or the local. I mean, I am local to a lot of my stuff, but I try never to go there. I mean, I'm the guy that like drives by, and if a tenant sees me and they say like, you've been here a lot, like, maybe do you own the place? I'm like, no, I'm just working with the property managers. Like, I don't want anyone to know I own it. So I'm definitely not that guy. But I would say somewhere around the key principle kind of thing. But if I really wanted to say what my superpower was on this stuff, it's the creative side of finding the deal and how to structure it. So it's kind of like, coordinating between the person that's finding the deal, the financier, and then also serving as that, the repositioner.
Right.
That's probably the closest of your little, I think I do a little bit of, this and a little bit of that, like everyone in the world, but repositioner, that's probably it.
Nice. And you can see that that's my little method for pinpointing exactly how we can help each other. If we know our motivations and we know the role in co-GPing, then we can get straight to business without all the foreplay, right?
Yeah.
So that's what I'm up to right now. Anyway, Jeff, thank you so much for coming out today.